It was an amazing year for both Ripple and XRP. Thus, it is difficult not to be amazed by the progress of the XRP ledger in recent months. When we look at the price development, we simply consider the price development, don't we? And while I'm aware that many of you are probably not impressed, those of you who have stuck with it are already aware of how remarkable XRP's growth over the past 12 months has been. Even so, XRP has increased by more than 400%. The growth here is pretty great, and the cycle has been amazing so far in terms of acceptance, adjustments, and everything that occurs around the XRP ledger with the EVM sidechain. And this is only the beginning, in my opinion. If we truly examine a significant month for the Open Eden XRP ledger from Ripple, its RWA value has increased by 32.27% and its DeFi TVL by 19%. Open Eden is pleased to hold the top spot in the XRP ledger RWA league table for the most growth over the past 30 days within this dynamic. We are leading the way in the institutional RWA tokenization process. When we consider what transpired here, we can see that there was a lot of positive news on tokenization from well-known sources. According to the motto, "Oh, well, at the moment we only have this amount of money on the blockchain," I feel like we are a little too focused on the short term and aren't giving much thought to the tokenization process's future course. You are already aware of when things start to take off. And by that, I mean that as soon as we get clarification regarding the tokenization market, which we know from the SEC, things will shift and increase extremely fast, because nothing will prevent institutional entities from entering the tokenization space once the market has this clarity. We currently see billions. We could observe the rapid inflow of billions of dollars into these networks. About that, let us briefly examine the development of the XRP ledger. It has risen by about 30% in the past 30 days. In the past 30 days, that is 23.43%, 306 or over $37 million. In the past 30 days, stablecoin's market capitalization has also grown by 56%. Thus, it was once more really thrilling to observe XRP's rise. Now let's quickly review the top 30-day winners. There has been a 274% growth in Open Eden. Let's look at the T-bills for a moment. I wish there were a way to view things from the standpoint of the network. Regarding XRP, you could see it correctly. This place is green. The first significant increase occurs at the start of August. You know, Open Eden's growth has been excellent thus far. Additionally, I believe that many of these other values will increase as well, particularly since XRP will be the subject of numerous additional tokenization procedures. With Ripley's well in particular, we are aware that there will be a lot more tokenization announcements soon. Given that we saw some significant announcements at this event in 2024, 2023, and 2022, I believe this is likely one of the most anticipated events. It is important to mark Ripley's well on the calendar because, in my opinion, it will increase the level of acceptability of the XRP ledger regarding the tokenization process. Let's discuss the recent article by Ripley in this context, which discussed how a key aspect will determine the fate of $18.9 billion in tokenized assets until 2033. Ripley has already resolved the institutional storage issue. 5 major conclusions on the top financial technology in the globe were drawn from the Singapore Blockchain Association custody workshops. Strong governance, scalable stablecoin introduction, operational dependability, flexible storage methods, and compliance by design. All of this is related to what is taking place in this big market worth $18 billion. Let's examine it more closely if we give it some thought. First, the storage of digital assets is rapidly becoming a key component of the financial infrastructure as the digital financial system matures. These days, tokenized RWAs, borderline payments, and stablecoin emission are made possible by storage. Businesses want a storage solution that is safe, scalable, and complies with evolving regulatory standards as the use of storage grows. All of this necessitates a more thorough examination of storage as a vital part of the digital asset ecosystem. At the start of the month, the Singapore Blockchain Association's Ripley Custody Workshops focused on this. Why is it crucial to store digital assets? The primary point of entry for organizations wishing to participate in the digital asset market is storage. It provides the infrastructure required to lower risks, guarantee adherence to legal requirements, and open up new business opportunities. The anticipated rise in tokenized RWAs, which is expected to approach $18.9 billion by 2033, is driving the sharp increase in demand. The New Value Report 2025 by Ripley highlights the expanding institutional dynamics surrounding the introduction of digital assets. According to a previous analysis by the Boston Consulting Group and Ripley, According to the survey, throughout the past 6 months, 71% of Asian Pacific financial institutions and businesses have increased their faith in digital assets. Although just 30% of businesses use storage solutions now, 52% more intend to do so in the upcoming 3 years. Indeed, this is a crucial area to concentrate on, since 71% of Asia Pacific firms and institutional actors now have greater faith in digital assets. This data is crucial to pay attention to because it confirms that the number of people being introduced to institutional and corporate levels will only rise going forward. The 5 key conclusions drawn from this workshop are: we implemented a compliance by design strategy for the storage infrastructure right from the start. In essence, it describes how to determine what is required. These are the most crucial factors to take into account. Select the storage model that best suits your company's needs. Strong governance, operational dependability, and storage infrastructure all contribute to institutional confidence. The most crucial factor in tokenization, by the way, is storage, which is essential to expanding the introduction of stablecoins. Storage is essential to all of this when considering tokenization itself. So if we consider what is happening here and what is coming to us, let's look at this page called Ask the Future. The event demonstrated how important digital asset storage is to institutional acceptance and trust. The storage infrastructure needs to be dependable, transparent, and flexible in light of the expanding number of applications and regulatory requirements. Solutions like self-storage, third-party, or hybrid models enable the next stage of stablecoins, tokenized funding, and cross-border development. For instance, Ripley Custody guarantees compliance, flexibility, and corporate integration while providing institutions with safe tokenized asset management. In the subsequent stage, the storage infrastructure needs to be further connected with tokenized documents and smart contracts, which are subject to off-chain conditions. This will be crucial for automated compliance procedures, conditioned windings, and the full on-chain execution of trading flows, in addition to programmable payments. These abilities will help build a digital financial system that is interoperable, scalable, and appropriate for the modern financial era. Indeed, all of this is a component of Ripley, the major infrastructural building piece. When we consider this puzzle, we examine every aspect. We examine tokenization, correct? In particular, we can see that XRP plays a significant role in the tokenization of Ripley. In actuality, XRP is really significant. It is the most important aspect of Ripley's side tokenization. The DEX is embedded within it. It is closely related to everything that can facilitate tokenization, even tokenization-related applications like institutional DeFi. This is all a part of the overall plan. This essential infrastructure is made by Ripley. It contains all the necessary components for the XRP ledger to make this a reality. We examine the purchase of Ripley. We examine the coin that is stable. We examine everything Ripley has produced over the past 10 years. This is all intended for this particular moment. This is an extremely strong upward trend for XRP if we take into account everything that has been announced in the past several weeks. Let's examine the events that have transpired since the start of the summer. Now let's return to June 10th. The first announcement we got was that the XRP ledger currently contains the digital commercial paper DCP from APEX 2025, with assistance from the economy. DCP, the first native digital commercial paper, is run by Guggenheim Treasury Services, one of the biggest independent commercial paper platform managers globally. The XRP ledger contains more than 280 million emissions, a Moody's best note with a fixed interest rate. Let's return to the ledger for XRP. What is the current value of XRP from Guggenheim? There are just roughly 10 million in the economy. This pales in comparison to the place where this value is evolving. This is only the start. June 11th is another significant step. The XRP ledger now offers tokenized U.S. government bonds. Supported by the BlackRock Build Fund, Ono Finance's OSG allows for round-the-clock institutional access, is mintable, and is compatible with RUSD. To what extent is it associated with value? More than $30 million. This is only the start. Then comes another significant step. Over $200 million in actual assets, including stock-based and fixed interest rate investment instruments, were added to the blockchain in the XRP ledger by Mercado Bitcoin on July 4th. More than 70 central banks and financial organizations trust the network to which the assets are linked. When we visited here the previous time I checked, this value was not yet there in the XRP ledger. For this reason, I always advise you to consider all of the announcements that were made this year. The network has not yet received the majority of these announcements. The majority of these announcements are still pending. Since we are aware that these numbers will soon be shown on the XRP ledger, this is incredibly hopeful. Additionally, I am excited to announce our innovative relationship with ControlAlt on July 16th. ControlAlt will promote the Dubai State Department's real estate tokenization initiative by storing digital asset values from Ripple using state-of-the-art technology. What is the value attached to this? Let's see. In the XRP ledger, these real estate investment classes are referred to as the tokenized value. I think we can see some of them. There are 476 billion, 500 million, 435 million, 480 million, 1 million, about 820,000, and roughly 654,000 individuals. These are important values, and this is only the first step. Here's the value announcement once more in case you thought that was it. 130 million US dollars. The XRP ledger will be used for this. On July 23rd, this was yet another significant announcement. The XRP ledger now has this value. It was visible to us. For a while, let's return to the overall value. This is worth 61 million. I believe we haven't yet seen it in its entirety in the ledger. Indeed, this is the only valuable one. Once more, this is a deal of $130 million. Since we currently only have roughly 116 million, we have a lot more money that needs to be distributed here. Therefore, we need to invest a little more in the XRP ledger. However, this is only the beginning. Furthermore, it is evident from everything Ripple is doing here, what we observe of it, and all of the statements made at these events, that Ripple aspires to serve as the institutional foundation for the tokenized and digital economy of the future. The Internet of Values is exactly at eye level with this. Here, XRP is the decisive factor. Thus, this is quite hopeful. 18.9 billion US dollars. I firmly believe that this will eventually grow to be worth 100 billion US dollars. It will take a long time, of course. However, as of the right moment, the blockchain has 14.63 billion tokenized RWAs, which are worth 18.9 billion US dollars in total. This is starting to rise more significantly. I'm intrigued. I'm eager to see a significant increase, a jump that will take us from roughly 15 billion to roughly 30 billion. Wouldn't that be enormous? Imagine, suppose in a single instant, the total RWA value on the blockchain would double. That might occur. The value might double in an instant with just a significant tokenization step. And since institutional actors are once more quite keen to support tokenization to a significant degree, I believe that this will undoubtedly occur for tokenization in the USA. I'm quite enthusiastic about Ripple and XRP's future because of this. The year was already amazing, the blockchain's worth is just increasing, and I believe that there is still a lot more to come this year and in the future. I hope you found this film enjoyable in this way. Please subscribe, like, and turn on the notifications if you enjoy me.